Hello everyone, and welcome to Backlog Tales, where every game has a story. And that's essentially the core idea of this show. It's all off the cuff, no script, and just talking about memories I have with a lot of the games in my backlog, whether I've beaten them or not. And I thought it would be a nice way to have some small bit of content and relate kind of a little bit more about myself, getting myself out there, my life, my story, my history with games, and how they kind of evolved over time, because I've been gaming for a long time, basically ever since I got the NES, the original NES when I was 4 years old, and I've been addicted ever since. It's kind of been obvious about that. But in a relation, I also got a Game Boy not long after, and one of the Game Boy games that I remember loving to death and kind of fueled a love of the character that I didn't really stick with a lot because I didn't know, I was still young. I didn't know games. I relied on getting most of my games from just choices my parents made. So I didn't really have a taste then. I knew I liked Mario, but that's about it. Little did I know that Kirby's Dream Land 2 would be up there as well. Kirby would be a major factor and a huge love of my life. And let me pull it out of the case here because I like to keep this thing protected because this is my original cartridge. I got this when I was quite young. I don't know why I got it. I was just given it. I probably was like pretty cute, which helped out a lot. And I really did fall in love with Kirby's Dream Land 2. I know it's kind of has a mixed reception nowadays. Some people don't like the slower pace, and it kind of took a few steps back from Kirby's Adventure, but I think it's still fantastic. It's one of my favorite. Introduced the animal buddies, Rick, Kine, and Koo, and I loved it. And the interesting thing about Dream Land 2 to me was it was surprisingly challenging, at least if you wanted to see the end, because I remember playing it and going towards the end, beating each level, doing everything I could, and getting to the end. And then I got to a certain point where I couldn't continue on because you needed star drops. And I had found a few along the way, and I found a few spaces here and there where it needed to be done. And I was collecting star drops as much as I could. But eventually there was one, just one, that I could not find. Or rather, I found it, but I couldn't find the right combination of powers. And I don't remember offhand which one it was, but I do know it requires the most switching, because you need to go in with a certain power. You need to keep it up to a certain point. Use it with that animal buddy that you needed to keep up to that point. Get through it, and I think then switch to another soon after that. I forget offhand, but it was one of those things where it was surprisingly complex in retrospect. Nowadays it doesn't seem that bad, but in retrospect, as a kid trying to figure this out, I was lost. I had no idea what to do, and because of that, I've never beaten, well, I should say, at the time, I never beat Kirby's Dream Land 2. Just beyond me. So what I would do is, every so often I have this thought, like, maybe if I start fresh, I'll be able to do it, make my way through. So I'd start a new save file and try again, and every single time it didn't matter. I could not get that star drop to save my life, and I just couldn't make it happen. I'm a little sad too, because there's some cool stuff there, but that wasn't detrimental to the game in the grand scheme or my memories. I still love Dream Land 2. I love what it brought to the table. I love the fact that you could have all these different powers, and then they were further remixed because of working with the animal buddies. And as a kid, Rick was my favorite. It's a hamster. How could you not love Rick? And all the different things that he could do. I love when he could breathe fire. He rolled up into a boulder. It was really fun. Kind situational. He was fine. I liked it when he got his light bulb in the mouth that he sent out. That always felt powerful. But it was also one of those things like, oh God, he's on land. This sucks. And of course, Koo, who is now my favorite. And Koo can be just utterly devastating given him the right power. And I think I realized that at the time, but, hamster over owl. It's just the way it is. Yeah, remember just diving into these and not really, knowing the lore of Kirby. I don't even think I saw a single commercial for Kirby at the time. I just got this game and fell in love with it. And that's the cool thing about gaming from this era for me, where it was kind of a Wild West. I didn't know what I was getting. It was all from my parents. And there's a lot of games I picked up that were surprisingly great, and a lot of games that were not that good, not that good. So it was kind of this grab bag, especially because at the time, there weren't a lot of gamers, and my parents were certainly not gamers. That just didn't click with them the same way. I would try, and they would play a little bit with me, but it wasn't happening. And it's kind of funny to me which games they got me hooked on despite having no knowledge, and which ones they missed. Like, never played a Legend of Zelda until the N64. None, despite having an NES and a Game Boy. So I missed out on all those Zelda games that came out on those systems, and never, I missed out on Kid Icarus. I missed out on Metroid on Nintendo, yet I had Metroid 2 on Game Boy. Don't know why, but there we go. And I like that kind of Wild West feeling. Of course, eventually I got magazines and I saw which were the good ones and which ones were the bad ones, and had more informed decisions and sort of cultivated my own taste at that point. And yet, sometimes Nintendo marketing works out really well. Sometimes they just have a cute pink guy on a cover along with his little animal buddies, and it kind of just all works out. And I never played Dreamland 1. I didn't know that was... I never looked it up. I didn't realize that he was White Kirby at that point. I think I got Kirby Pinball as well. I don't own that cartridge anymore. And I didn't pick up a lot of Kirby games until the DS with Canvas Curse, just because I had stepped away from Nintendo after the NES, so I missed out on a lot of stuff. Although, in college, I did hear a lot about Kirby 64, and I was always kind of curious about that one. Which I eventually did play. And again, I didn't actually beat Dreamland 2 until the Kirby Anniversary Collection, which contained Dreamland 1, 2, and 3, Adventure, Superstar, and 64. Great collection if you can find it. And I went through all the games. Played some of them for the first time. Reliving Kirby's Dream Land 2 was such a nostalgia trip, and I got the Star Drop, figured that out, beat the game finally, and that was kind of like a heck yeah from the childhood. So yeah, that is just some of my memories related to Kirby's Dream Land 2. Highly recommended, a lot of fun, and I just really enjoyed it. So that is my backlog tale on Kirby's Dream Land 2. Don't know what will come up next. Don't know how this will go, but let me know what you think in the comments below. And of course, be sure to subscribe to Good Vibes Gaming for more backlog tales and other fun content like this. Till next time, everyone. Bye.
What are friends? Friends are there to pick you up when you're feeling a little down. Friends are there to rearrange someone's face when they're acting like a clown. Friends are a hamster, a fish, and an owl in Kirby's Dream Land 2. If you ain't fighting on their side, well, man, I'd pity you.
Kirby's back, and the Flappy One brought 3 rowdy friends. It's a pumped-up, powered-up Kirby in Kirby's Dream Land 2. New for Game Boy and Super Game Boy.
Will you be my friend?